All righty, we continue. This is Zach Gelb show on the Infinity Sports Network. Let's go out to the guest line right now. Michigan had a huge victory on Saturday in the Big House up against USC, and we welcome in one of the best defensive players in the country who had a pick six, and that, of course, is Will Johnson, who's kind enough to join us once again on the Zach Gelb show. Will, appreciate the time as always. How you been?
I've been great. Even better after the win.
Yeah, and you had some performance on Saturday. Take me through that pick six, which was the third pick six of your career at Michigan.
Yeah, it was really just a mix of instincts and just the preparation throughout the week, kind of knowing what they might give me. And yeah, just once I saw the quarterback look that way, I broke on the ball, and it was a perfect situation after that.
I know you guys are defending national champions, so I don't think the defending national champs need a confidence boost. But with that being said, last year's team is different than this year's team. A lot of people are counting you guys out after the performance up against Texas a few weeks ago. What do you think Saturday did kind of say to the rest of the college football world about the team that you guys have?
I think really just let everybody know we're still a great team. We're still continuing to learn who we are, continuing to get better each and every week. It's just new players, new coaches. So I mean that was a bump in the road, and we're just trying to go 1-0 every week and get better every week. That's our goal.
What does a win like that do, though, for morale in a locker room and also confidence for what you guys are trying to build this year?
Yeah, win is always huge. I mean, a loss can do something to you, and we don't lose a lot around here. So definitely is not a great feeling. And winning is what we're used to, and we want to keep it that way and keep everybody together and keep everybody on the same page. So winning is always it always helps with that.
Will Johnson is my guest. I got to ask you about Kalel Mullings, who had an unbelievable performance. He had a great performance, even if the last drive didn't happen. But we know when it was crunch time, planted players make planted plays. He did that, putting you guys in good field position after the big run. And then with the game on the line, he puts the ball in the end zone. Just kind of describe what you saw from Kalel Mullings on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, he just showed you somebody we can depend on, especially in those moments when it's really matters. I mean, that's kind of one of those moments where season was on the line. I mean, we had to get a win, we had to get a touchdown, and he carried us all the way down the field. So, got a lot of trust in that guy, and look forward to a lot of great things the rest of the season.
How about that dynamic between him and Donovan Edwards? Because it seems like they feed off one another, and it's a very healthy competition, which means a lot of rushing yards for your team.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love the way they're handling that situation. I mean, they're very supportive of each other. They're getting, I think, pretty much split carries. And they're both doing pretty well with it. So as long as we can continue to have success, continue to keep winning, and continue to keep getting better, I think nothing but great things will happen for both of them.
I know it was out of your control, but when you're on the sideline for that fourth down play call, right? We all knew where the ball was probably going. It was going to Kalel Mullings, and it was a deserved opportunity. Just how did you kind of process it, kind of watching it on the sidelines when that was all going down?
Yeah, well, I was actually back up in the tunnel getting X-rays, and I was watching on TV. And when you're back there, you can kind of hear the crowd before you see it on TV. So when I saw him lining up and I heard the crowd go crazy, I had already knew he scored, and I knew where the ball was going. I knew they were about to follow behind the best fullback in the country, and Brad, and yeah, I'm just happy we were able to finish that drive strong.
Yeah, I know you got X-rays and you didn't return. So how are you feeling right now? Just wondering.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. Obviously something to work through, but I'll be all right.
You think you're going to be able to play coming up on Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just taking it day by day and see where it ends up, but I'm not 100% sure yet.
What is the injury? Just wondering. Do you know?
Yeah, something on my shoulder,
And then how you
shoulder.
feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling better.
Gotcha. Will Johnson here with us. Let me ask you about your quarterback, Alex Orji. When I talked to you in the offseason, you were raving about what he can be. Obviously, he wasn't the starter to begin the year, but now has taken over the reins as your signal caller. We know what he could do as a runner, but you seeing him day in and day out, just what do you think he could develop into as a passer? Because usually don't see teams win a college football game when the quarterback only has 32 yards passing.
Yeah, I mean, he can do just as much with his arm as he can do with his legs. Just really wait on the opportunity, the right opportunity for him to be able to show it. He's shown us all of that during camp, and I got nothing but trust for him to make those explosive plays. And I know he can do it, and I've seen him do it. So I'm just excited, and I trust the coaches, whatever their game plan is and how they want to attack it each week. But he definitely has it in him, and whenever he's able to show it, I'm sure he will showcase it.
Will Johnson is my guest. Let me talk about some of your other players on the defensive side of the ball. Josiah Stewart transferred in 2 years ago. We know how he's continued to grow with this team. How do you kind of just look at his growth from the last 2 years with the Michigan program?
Yeah, he's always been a great player. I mean, he's really just been waiting his turn, and now it's his time. So he's gonna continue to eat. He's gonna continue to be hungry and eager to go get that quarterback. And I see a lot of great things coming out of him and D Moore and the rest of the D line this year.
Yeah, well, I follow a lot of mock drafts, and I always see your name in the top 10, in the top five. I also see Mason Graham's name in the top five, in the top 10. If I'm an NFL general manager, right, and you'll get this question when you eventually go to the combine, they'll ask you about Mason Graham. Just what do you want to tell them about your teammate with you guys really being linked together for the last few years?
Yeah, I mean, it's no question who the best D tackle in the country is. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete. He's a freak. He knows football very well. He's put himself in a lot of great situations out there, and he sets up, helps out the rest of the D line a lot too, more than you know it. So, I mean, he's going to continue to have a great year. And I just know wherever he is this year, next year, and I've seen it for so long, and against so many different dudes, I just know he can do it on any level, and he's the best D tackle in the country.
Well, we know you're going to be called early in the draft, and so is Mason. I'm also starting to think Kenneth Grant is going to be a first-round pick as well. It's weird because I watch every Michigan game. You know, I'm obviously wearing the Roman Wilson sweatshirt right now, so I'm a big fan of your program and what you guys have been able to do. So I know how good of a player Kenneth Grant is, but really, I think the rest of the nation may not realize it yet, and he could be a tad underrated. Just what do you want the nation, since we're a national show, to know about Kenneth Grant on the defensive line?
Yeah, it's hard to say Mason's the best D tackle in the country when we got KG sitting there right next to him, and he's right there too. But yeah, I mean, he's very underrated. I mean, I wouldn't say underrated, but he definitely is also right up there for that talk of the best D tackle in the country. And he continues to show that. I think he might have had 2 sacks this week too, and a bunch of quarterback pressures. But he's a freak athlete. One of the I think if he might not have fumbled on that one play, he might have took that to the crib, showcase that speed a little bit. But yeah, I think he'll do great things, and he'll continue to do great things this year and continue to show that. And it only helps when you got the best 2 D tackles in the country right next to each other. They're able to kind of eat off each other and feed off each other too. So Kenneth's going to be great. Like I said, like Mason, wherever he's at and whatever situation he's in.
Will Johnson is my guest. I want to ask you about yourself. We know how highly touted you are. We know what you did all of last season. You had the big interception coming out of halftime of the national championship game. And there's so many positive things which is being said about you, which is nice, but I don't sense any complacency. So just wondering, in this offseason, what were you trying to get better at, and what were you trying to do as you were getting ready to gear up for this season?
I think this offseason, my main focus was being a better leader, being there for my guys. I know I was going to have a bigger leadership role this year, and I was focusing on getting my body to 100%. I haven't really been at 100 since towards the end of my freshman year. So I was trying to get back to 100% and be the best version of me on that field, the best I can, take care of my body, take care of my mind, be the best I can, close to God and spiritually. And yeah, be there for my teammates and my coaches, whatever I can. That was my main focus, just be the best version of me all around.
But I saw a crazy stat. So you've allowed 2 defensive touchdowns in your career, and you've had 3 pick sixes. So you've scored 3 touchdowns. So if you haven't even got close to the apex of where you could be, I'm just wondering, like, how far away are you? Like, how much better do you think you can get, even with not being a fully 100% healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always room to grow, always room to continue getting better. So yeah, I'm just continue to have faith, continue to trust God, continue to attack each day with the same mindset and see where I end up.
Got a few more questions for Will Johnson before we let you run. Growing up, just wondering, who were some football players that you kind of looked up to, or who were some defensive backs maybe through time that you've ended up studying?
I mean, I would say I always looked up to my dad. I mean, he was a DB growing up too, but besides that, really, I always I feel like when I was younger, I used to watch a lot of different guys, but I feel like now that I really know football and really look at it in a different view, I would say guys like Pat Surtain and I would really say Pat Surtain. He's a bit the biggest guy I would say is similar to me and the way I play, the way our style we play, and similar body types and all those type of things. So I would say he's the guy I look at the most.
I know it was before your time, but obviously Charles Woodson was a Michigan Wolverine, won a Heisman Trophy, and we all know he's still very close with the program and he's around a lot. Just how about the relationship that you've been able to kind of stir up with Charles Woodson?
Yeah, he's been a great mentor for me. He's always been there for me and whatever I needed. He supports me in every way, so I'm very appreciative of that. And he gives me words of advice whenever I ask for, whenever we're in that situation. So, yeah, I mean, he's a great player, the greatest DB I think to ever play the game. So, continuing to chase him, continuing to trying to uh, do what he did on all levels, and I think wearing that number just makes it even more special.
Well, I saw that on three right before you jumped on with us. They put 10 names to watch out for the Heisman Trophy, and you were one of those 10 names. Obviously, Charles won a Heisman at Michigan. Have you allowed your brain to kind of go there? Is that, obviously it's probably a goal to win the Heisman. I know you usually focus on the team, but how about some of that Heisman chatter with you, and what do you want to say to maybe some voters?
Yeah, I mean, that would be a great award to win. I think just for me, it's just I'm not really too worried about it. I just want to continue to do everything I can to get me and this team in the best place we can be to continue to win football games. And that's my main focus. Just continue to win games, continue to put good things on the field, make plays, and I think all that will take care of itself. But I think a few reps on offense wouldn't hurt that case either.
Yeah, you think you can maybe get some of that Jabril Peppers package and get some touchdowns in there and get some handoffs?
It's been talked about a little bit, so we'll see how it works out.
Well, we'll see. Maybe that will be on full display up against Minnesota. I know you had a pick six up against them, so maybe you get a pick six this year, and then you go put one in the end zone as well on the offensive side of the ball. Before we let you run, I just want to ask you about Wink Martindale, your new defensive coordinator. And then also, we know he's been around the program for a while, but now he's the head honcho in Sharon Moore. Just how about Sharon as the head coach, and then also what Wink's been able to bring to your defense?
Yeah, Sharon's he's been great. He bleeds Michigan football. He's been around here for a long time, and he's the best coach for the job. So I'm glad we got him. Glad we kept him here, and he's been leading us in the right direction. And I'm excited to see how the season ends up going. But Coach Wing too. I mean, he's a newer guy, so he's been welcoming. We welcome him, I would say, and he's been doing great things for us. He came with that NFL experience, NFL mind. He knows this system. He created this system. So he's been continuing to teach us things, and we're continuing to learn from him and grow off him. And I think we'll continue to get better each week with him.
There's the last thing I'll ask you, and then we'll let you run, Will Johnson. I know that you said that when Khalil scored that touchdown at the end, that you were getting X-rays, and we talked about your injury. Were you ever close to coming back in that game? Was that close to happen, or did you kind of knew once you went in to get X-rays that was going to be it for Saturday?
Well, yeah, by the time I got done doing all that and they let me get back and cleared me to go back on the field, it was already Khalil had scored and the game was over. So I couldn't really go back in by then. But yeah, the game was pretty much over by the time I got back down to the field.
Gotcha. Well, hey, good luck, good health this year, and have a great game coming up against Minnesota. We appreciate you doing this as always.
Thank you. I appreciate you.